Donald Trump may have dementia. That's according to some inside of the medical community. This story has been an ongoing saga for a while, but it now has, well, legs. Let's go to the first dynamic. This is in question. Quote, Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day all wrapped up in one. In Iran, there will be nothing like it. Open the effing straight, you crazy sturts, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. There's more. This was posted at 8 a.m. on Resurrection Sunday, also known as Easter morning, Christian context holiday, high holy day. MS Now, medical analyst, Dr. Gupta sounded the alarm. Quote, erratic, can't finish sentences, often confused, a logical train of thought, word finding difficulties, developing and worsening gradually over time. The president is exhibiting all the signs of dementia. The good doctor is a frequent guest on MS Now, well known to the public. He is the network's senior medical analyst, has voiced concerns about Donald Trump's health for months. After Trump's visit to the World Economic Forum, the doctor reflected on the president's family history of age-related dementia and claimed that he was seeing a trend line that seems like it's getting worse. The president's father died in 1999 at the age of 93 from pneumonia that was complicated by the disease of Alzheimer's, which has no medically accepted cure as of yet. He had also been previously diagnosed with dementia. He also discussed the theories that a 79-year-old is showing signs of Alzheimer's disease or frontotemporal dementia, pointing out that much of the president's behavior is, quote, consistent with these diagnoses. Quote, the acting out behavior changes, lashing out, acting unreasonable, Dr. Gupta said. One could say that this is his core fundamental personality based on what we've seen over, frankly, his entire adult life. But it's getting worse. There's an interesting thing that Donald Trump did when he thought Biden was going to be his presidential opponent in Trump too. And if you have the time, I challenge you to check the record. Sean Hannity's show. It's on YouTube. He was coming on Hannity's show damn near every day. So he's on Hannity's program, Donald Trump, and they're talking about Biden. Now, Hannity brings up that Biden is exhibiting signs of dementia. Okay? Hannity brought this up. For the first time that I have ever seen, Donald Trump said to Hannity, don't do that. That's not funny. Don't do that. And Hannity tried to clean it up, saying, but he's leader of the free world. This is important. And Trump took a route that seemed compassionate. There's more. The doctor also expressed concerns about the president's unusual decision to brag about acing multiple cognitive tests He did that in Trump 1 presidency as well, which are not typically offered to people whose mental fitness is sound. Before I continue, understand what the doctor has said. Trump continues to talk about he aced cognitive exams. And the doctor is saying those cognitive exams aren't given to people who have healthy cognition. They're given to people who don't, in order to test the progression of the cognitive disease or disorder. Quote, this is not the flex he thinks it is, the doctor said after the president boasted about acing a cognitive exam for the third straight time. Quote, you don't do this every other day and use that as evidence that you're cognitively there, end quote. The connection has also been made by Trump's own niece, who told the Daily Beast podcast back in November that there are times she looks at Trump and she now sees her grandfather. Quote, I see that same look of confusion. I see that he does not always seem to be oriented to time and place. His short-term memory seems to be deteriorating. End quote. Ironically, I've said something similar right here in Indisputable, that Donald Trump may not be lying to the ratio that we think he's lying. Does he lie? Of course he lies. But some of it may be that he authentically doesn't remember what the hell he just said and contradicts himself in the same conversation within 5 minutes. Put it up, full mass. Remember how big that controversy was? Okay? This is more than a rumor with Donald Trump. Trump orders inquiry into Biden's actions, alleging cognitive decline. Trump's mental condition is so bad that Alex Jones is mourning the Trump he once knew and loved. Here's Alex.
When your ankles swell up 3 times the size they were before, that means heart failure. And he does look sick. And he does babble and, sound like the brain's not doing too hot. And so we just cut bait on Trump and we just mobilize against the Democrats. There's a fourth turning. Populist, nationalists, conservatives are winning everywhere. There's a Christian reawakening. And Trump is just a minor figure in all of that now. And we have to be appreciative of the old Trump that went through so much and got so much done. And that's the Trump we remember. And we're just sad because that happens. We need to be sad about Trump. This is not funny. This is not good. But he's gone. And I saw Trump's Easter message to Iran. Number one, just from a psychological perspective, when Trump killed the mullah, which Israel told him to do, they said that would make him give up. That's the opposite of making him give up. And blowing up their bridges and power plants, it just hurts the citizens, it just unified them. So just from a military perspective, it's horrible when the hearts and minds. Our military did act like this in the past with their rhetoric. And it's super bad news. And this is not the old Trump. It's one thing if he says on the campaign trail or whatever, I do that too. But on Easter, with messages about Allah Akbar and give up, you crazy effers, they're not going to.
The hell is wrong with you? You are willing to back Trump even though he protects and has partaken in, more than likely, pedophilia behavior. You're willing to back him. You're willing to back Trump when he decided to do the bidding of a foreign nation, putting American soldiers at risk, their families in crisis. You're willing to back Donald Trump when he provided one of the worst economic declines within 1 year of a presidency in modern era. but you won't stand by your friend because he has dementia potentially? Alex, come on. What would white Jesus do, sir? You believe that your Christian evangelical rhetoric was somehow penetrating Donald Trump? You should have known he was playing a part, right? Now, Alex, if you don't know that, brother, I got some serious questions. Right now, you actually look more credible than you ever have been because you said one thing that we can all agree with. It's time to move on, all of us. We got Jeffrey Sachs. This guy is an economist, gave a candid assessment of Trump based on forensic psychology. Here it is.
Donald Trump is psychopathic. This is a clinical judgment that is made by forensic psychologists and psychiatrists since he came on the public scene. This is not a man who gathers information and rationally processes it and maybe vicious, but is highly tactical, closes the deal, and so forth. This is an unhinged man who is impulsive, paranoid, psychopathic, and a megalomaniac.
That's a lot. So put up the picture again, Jordan. Donald Trump and Biden. Biden had a bad debate performance. Because of the politics at play, Republicans did not have to get involved in that fight. Democrats did. Maybe rightfully so. Who knows? But Republicans stood by Donald Trump until it's impossible to believe that he's still coherent. But he never was coherent. You elected an incoherent leader. That's why it's so hard to distinguish what could be potential dementia and what could simply be an old, bigoted, white male losing power. Psychopathic is interesting because it says that everything about the person is ego-driven and superficial. If you are clinically diagnosed being a psychopath, that means you don't have natural affection. You never developed it, unfortunately. And that's a sad day for any human being. I wish no harm on this man's humanity. Because if I become that person, I'm no better than him. I do hope he gets the help he needs while we recover from his leadership nightmare. All right, dear brother, thoughts?
First of all, I remember the clip that you're referring to on Sean Hannity where Donald Trump rushed to the defense of President Biden. And at the time, I remember thinking it was because he thought that he would rather run against a demented Biden as opposed to running against Kamala Harris, who, say what you want about her, she's cognitively there. So he was doing things about he kept going on a campaign saying that Biden should sue the Democratic Party for kicking him off the ticket, all that kind of crazy stuff. And I also agree 100%. I wrote it down at the very beginning of this segment that Donald Trump is such a damaged individual that it's hard to suss out what is his extreme ignorance, what is potential dementia, what is this malignant narcissism that he has, because I think to some extent he's always been the kind of person, he's such a malignant narcissist that he invents reality. So he has no problem saying one lie, admitted one, and a contradictory lie, admitted five, and those jihad in his head. So now that we're seeing some of this potential slippage, it's still consistent with his Donald Trump in his prime, which he very well may be in this moment, but his health is slipping. I mean, from from the fact that he's taken 5 or 6 of these cognitive tests, which are only given to people who are suspected to have dementia. The fact that he's having MRIs seemingly every other week. I have friends that are in their 70s and their 80s, and some of them have had 2 MRIs their entire lives. Donald Trump has had 2, 3 this term. So we're in such a disarray, and he fundamentally has no idea what he's doing in any context. So he's so radically inconsistent with his talking points on Iran. 1 minute he's threatening NATO allies, and the next minute he's begging them for help, and then 2 minutes after that he's saying we don't need your help. You go get the oil yourself. You go take the Strait. So all of this is consistent with dementia, but it's also absolutely consistent with Donald Trump. And Alex Jones attacking him now. I mean, he's one of many on the right wing who are seeing Trump flailing. I don't know what they were looking for though. So all these folks, I do give credit to them for coming to the correct conclusion, like him and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson. But this is the same Trump from 10 years ago. So I don't know what all of a sudden has happened that makes them see the light. I mean, he's been equally crazy this entire time. He's been equally. We tried to go to. He killed Solomon Khamenei in the middle of the last term. So his first term of president. So it's not like we should be shocked that we're at war with Iran. He was trying to go to war with Iran since day one. So I'm sort of at the end of my rope with all this Johnny come latelyism.
Right. Yeah, because they signed, sealed, and delivered Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
We didn't.